human capital development, even more than infrastructure. And if, like you said, if the people at the helm of affairs do not see that, then we have a very big problem. So on a normal day, the increase in population should be a blessing. That means we have more people that can work, more people that can add to contribute to the GDP, more people that can grow our economy. When studies have shown that a naira invested in human capital development translates to up to 20 times impact in the economy down the years.
More people to contribute to the GDP.
That's
but
correct.
There's also the issue, which we are already talking about in 2018, of food security.
Okay.
Already we're thinking that very soon we may not have enough food to feed ourselves.
Again, that's because we do not produce what we eat. We do a lot of importation, and we have a lot of, for example, those who, if you have a small business or you employ people, we say there's high unemployment, yet it's difficult to hire the right people. How do you marry the two of them? So even the people we have, many do not have the right skills for employability that could put them to positive use. So most people are waiting for a handout from government to sustain them, and that's not going to work. We need more people that contribute to the national economy. We need students that will come out of universities and are thinking of creating value. And that's where the difference is, not people that want to go and get a nice job and earn some good salary. So we have a big gap in terms of our ability to translate manpower into human capital, and that is huge.
But then, I'm sorry, Sharon, still staying with you, but you still have these young people who, as they're coming out, they're thinking business. They're thinking, I need to start my own thing. A lot of them are starting little things. So is that not helping in any way?
In a lot of ways, many of them are not prepared. The environment has not given them the right tools to do well in that. So many people is more rhetorical. That's why the failure rate is very high. Many people go in and say, oh, just sack your boss and all of that stuff, but then it all fails because they don't understand how business really works or what sacrifices they need to make at an early stage to make it sustainable. So that's where many people do that, not because it's because they don't have options. They're like, well, let's just try and do something. And a lot of people are also doing very well with drive and order, but there could be much more. Things could be much better. Nigerians, naturally, we have a lot of drive, we have a lot of passion, we have a lot of, we can do what we want to do well. And you can see that when you see Nigerians abroad, either in medicine, in engineering, in various fields, we do very well under the right environment. So just a little push in our own local environment would translate to huge benefits.
Are there enough policies to help them? Because the main complaint is, number one, like you say, they're not prepared. They haven't got the know-how to run a business. They're going into business because they can't find a job.
That's correct.
And then to start a business, you also need financing. That's a major issue. Are there enough policies to help them get soft loans to start business?
We have the shortage of the policies, and we have a shortage of the implementation of existing policies. For example, we mentioned access to finance. That's one of the toughest things in the environment. It's very difficult to find an organization or a bank or an institution that is willing to just assess someone based on their credibility and be able to give them, and you have to understand their position. They need to be able to recover their funds. So you can't blame them. I've seen that happen over time. There's a time a TV guy came to my house to fix my TV, and I asked him, you're very smart. What can you do to get better? And then he told me how he worked so hard to get a 1 million naira loan, and nobody was willing to give to him. So it's painful, and this repeats itself across various strata of the environment. So, and we have a very harsh business climate as well. Apart from the finance issues, we have to provide your power, provide your water, provide, your road sometimes, your marketing efforts, and yet the government is after you for tax and other things. So it's a very toxic environment.
Mr. Day, these two gentlemen have painted a very bleak picture. Yeah, so we have issue of differentiating and working it together, human capital and our population. So let's look at the Population Commission and the Planning Ministry. Is there a way, or is there a working relationship to ensure that even in the planning of our budget, in the planning of our infrastructure spread, even in the planning of our education, that these issues of human capital development and the population are brought in?
Thank you very much. I must say that I was going to mention that when you first asked me the first question. There's what we call the National Policy on Population, which was established in 1988, but we had a review recently, and we have passed it on to Mr. President. These actually guides and discusses all the issues we're talking about here. You see, at the Population Commission, we're very aware of the fact that everything is about population. If you want to measure good governance, it's measured against the population. It's measured against the happiness of the people. Population is everything, and everything is population. So I would rather want us to look at what we can do to get to the right place we need to get to in Nigeria. 198 million population is huge, but I know we're not even as big as America, and yet it's not as bad as it is over there as it is here. They've actually painted these pictures, and I agree with them. But you see, if we did not take certain measures, we would continue to say the same things over and over again. I must say this, that the UN, from the global perspective, it's been stated that, according to research, that Nigeria will continue to grow at this rate in the next 70 years. So if we don't do anything now, we'll just continue to talk. And the first thing we should do, we must look at our reproductive health system. It's very important. Nigeria has a very high fertility rate. It's in Nigeria you have early marriage of children. A 12-year-old, a 10-year-old is married. And we're talking about women empowerment. Then we look at education and skill acquisition. These are issues, they are policies that the government, there was a political will